Every parent wants their child to be independent, and whether that is through learning to brush their own teeth, make some food, or one of the really key milestones is learning how to get dressed by themselves. Now, children normally pick this up quite naturally, watching their siblings, asking the parents how to do things. But if your child has additional needs, or like my son who is autistic, there are so many different challenges that come into effect, from those fine motor skills to the communication, to the routine, the change. And it is a very difficult task to try and teach your child that little bit of independence. I'm Mags Hay and I write a blog called A&Me. I have many resources on my website, which you find the link below. And also I'm across all social media channels where I show how I do things, how I adapt strategies, and how we live a slightly different life to the norm. Please follow me if you watch on YouTube, subscribe, and also check out myself on Instagram and Facebook as well. Now, what I'm going to show you today is how I taught Reese to get himself dressed. So what you can see in front of me is what I like to call a visual schedule. So if you Google schedules or pictures, you may come across things like this. And there's lots of this about how you use these on my website, so please have a look. But you don't always have to use pictures and charts and imagery on walls. You can use schedules and sequences in any way you want. And what I've got here is basically a sequence of getting dressed. So we've got Reese's pants, his trousers, his t-shirt and his socks at the end as well. Now, if you know something about first next or give and take, bit of reward, what I would do in this situation, I would get Reese, if he had his cards, he loved flashcards, or a toy, or even a treat, I would always get him to put this at the end of the sequence, because that meant that as soon as he had accomplished getting dressed, he would get his reward at the end. So I'm going to pop these at the end now. And what you're going to use a number of different strategies to get your child to get themselves dressed by themselves. So I've already talked about sequences, and that's what we have over here in front of us. The first next strategy as well, first this, then that. So have a look at the links below. But what we're going to do is we're not going to set up our child for failure. So there's many things to learn here. You are going to do this if your child is non-verbal, you can do this strategy. They do not have to talk. They do not even have to understand language to do this. You can teach it with absolutely no verbal cues, but always add them. It does help for later on. So what you're going to do by setting up for success, you're going to use something called backward chaining. Again, the link is below. So you are going to line up the clothes in your visual schedule. You are then going to help your child by getting them to sit in front of you, and you are going to help them put their own clothes on. You are not going to let them do it. If they want to try and do it, fantastic. But you're not at this point trying to get your child to do it by themselves, or even setting it up to try and then they can't do it. Don't worry about that. What you are going to do is you're going to get them dressed all the way along, and then at the very last instance, that very last point, you are going to get them to do it, succeed, and then get their reward. Now what I mean there is called backward chaining. So if I grab a sock, and I really urge you to go get your own sock, because we all do this so naturally, but I want you to think about all the things you do to put your own sock onto your foot. And what you do this yourselves, you will scrunch up the sock, you will put your toes in, you will pull it over your heel, and then you'll pull it up around your ankle. Now, by setting up your child for success, what you're going to do after you have put your child's clothes on all the way down the sequence, you're going to get to the sock, you are going to do all those actions, you're going to scrunch up the sock behind your child, you're going to put it over their foot, you're going to pull it over their ankle, and then you're going to hand over hand help them to pull the sock up their leg. Amazing, they will have accomplished something. And that's where you're going to start. And as soon as they gather and they're able to do that all by themselves by pulling that sock up their leg, you're going to then guide them over their heel, wait till they can do that themselves. Then once they can do it, you're going to guide them on the foot and slowly backwards move in the sequence of events to put a sock on. And then what you're going to get is once they're able to do that, and I'm not talking within a day, I'm talking this whole sequence took us a year to accomplish, so you're in it for the long haul. But once you're able to get them to put their socks on, you will again do all the getting dressed for them till the socks, and then you're going to let them put their socks on by themselves. They're going to get their reward and go do what they need to do. Once you've accomplished your socks, you're then going to move on to the t-shirt, which is so tricky. Again, work out all the different stages in putting on a t-shirt. The last stage, hand over hand, get them to put the t-shirt on, and then go backwards from that stage till they are comfortable putting the entire t-shirt on. Then you're going to move to the jeans or the trousers, or if you have a girl, a dress, whatever item it is. And then lastly, you're going to move back. So you're moving down, helping them, but they will slowly progress in doing it themselves. Now, the key thing, once you've got your child doing this, you will obviously want to sit with them and support them and help them reduce anxiety and get them to do it. You will find that you will eventually have your child doing this twice a day, in the morning and the evening for their pajamas, and they will eventually get this by themselves. And this, as I said, took us a year with Reese. It is a long process, but there are so many skills that they learn in it. And what you can do once you've done this and moving it off the floor, you can actually adapt this to actually making them more independent. So how to adapt this? So we've done it all across the floor, and now I'm by Reese's chest of drawers. So what I've got here is I've got his t-shirt hanging up for him, and I've got his jeans down below, just as an example. So we still have the sequence, but in a slightly different way. So he can come along after learning what happened on the floor situation and take his t-shirt, take his jeans and other items that are hanging out for him. And then you can slowly adapt to that, because you can take the t-shirt and pop it within the drawer that he knows where it is. Similarly with the jeans. And then eventually putting them into the drawers so that your child goes, gets their clothes out, and they put them on. So hopefully that was really handy for you about how you can teach your child such a cool skill about how to get themselves dressed. Let me know below. Make sure you subscribe, follow on all social media channels, and learn these strategies the way that we do them.